Can you hear me? Good evening. We will call the City of Wildwood Board of Public Safety meeting to order. This is the meeting for Thursday, August 7th, 2025, slated to start at 6:30, starting a few minutes late, but we are starting. First order of business, could we do a roll call? I can grab it here real quick. So, Jeff Bader here. Kevin Gleason
Here.
Ed Marshall, Vince Loyal
Here.
Captain Mundell is present, Rick Brown present, Tom Lee. Is Tom Lee on Zoom or do we know? He is. Okay. And you are Destin. Amy Mathis, I assume is not here. All right. Got it. Right. Do we know is new board member David Wilson present on Zoom? All right. So we'll just pay attention in case he comes up. Roll call has been completed. Next item of business is the approval of minutes from the June 19th, 2025 meeting.
I have a comment, Mr.
Yes, sir.
Marshall. Yeah, I looked at the minutes at home and I didn't see any reference to our discussion we had regarding pedestrian crosswalks. Or when we, later in the meeting, when we had discussions regarding the process for adding items to the agenda. So if we could make a notation to include those things.
And Mr. Brown, I'm assuming somebody can go back and update those minutes.
It was reflective of the agenda that was posted for the meeting, and that's why it was omitted.
Make a motion that we postpone approving the minutes until those items have been added. Do I hear a second on that? So we will move the approval of the minutes from the June 19th meeting until our next scheduled meeting of the Board of Public Safety. Next item on the agenda is documents. That was our draft public comment. I think we probably have one public speaker here. So you can come to the podium, state your name and your address, and go from there. So welcome.
Hi, I'm Vicki Robleski. I live at 17227 Windsor Crest. I am just completed a 3-year term as president of the board of directors for Windsor Crest subdivision. And I'm here to talk about the request that I submitted to Mr. Brown for this group to hear last month regarding a no parking request for Windsor Crest Boulevard. Just wanted to answer some of the questions and provide some clarity based on listening to the meeting that you had last month. To start, I just kind of want to go back to the beginning as to why we made the request. But Windsor Crest subdivision, if you're not familiar, was built 20 years ago. It was the first subdivision built under the neo-urbanism and the dense design that was created under town center. McBride at that time was the builder, and they made a request for a variance to have parking on the street, which was approved, even though the streets were a little bit narrower. Since then, certainly it's been a great subdivision. It has the alleys, has the retro design, but some of the features that were built into that subdivision are also some of the issues that we still have today with it. For example, my driveway, I have a ranch home. The driveways are much shorter. My car is an Acadia and I cannot park it in the driveway unless I park it sideways. So it's not long enough for me to park straight ahead. So that's one of the things that if you park in the driveway, you can't park in the garage and get out in some of the homes in this subdivision. I also have a neighbor that's also been there 20 years. They now have children that are driving and have 4 children between the ages of 16 and 22 And there's 4 cars that they own at their home. So there's usually one in the garage, one in the driveway, and 2 in the front, at least, or more, with the friends who come to visit too. And then the request was for the curve on Windsor Crest to have no parking. On that same curve, we have 2 persons with disabilities, one who just moved in because they wanted the ability to park on the street so they had closer access for mobility because of health concerns that they have. So certainly in our subdivision, there's just not a lot of parking available in the back. So many people park on the street. We address it quite a bit and just had a subdivision meeting in May and had a conversation regarding parking again, because earlier in the year, we had our first incident where emergency vehicle, a fire truck, came into the subdivision and came to that same corner and could not pass through because cars were parked on both sides of the subdivision. So the conversation at the meeting was, how do we address parking in the subdivision? Because one of the considerations is, and the question that was asked is, why do we not just have parking on one side of the street? Our residents are adamantly opposed to that because there's not enough parking in the back. They have to park in the street in many cases for the number of cars they have for their home. So they were definitely opposed. The current board is opposed to having parking on one side. So we kind of left that meeting and I said, we have to have a solution because we can't have EMS not able to get through on that section of the street. So I went the next day to the neighbor, and I don't know that Rick has a diagram or not today, but the diagram that you got last month, there's a neighbor that lives on that corner that I spoke with, and I said, would you be willing to have the board take forward to public safety and to the city to have no parking in front of your house? Because that would address the concerns with Metro West in terms of trying to get a vehicle through the subdivision. That person said, I never park in front of my street. It's the people that are on the other side of the street that are parking there. And yes, definitely you can take forward the request. So the submission that I made to Mr. Brown was to say from the fire hydrant around the corner to the alley to have no parking there, to address the area that's the tightest in the subdivision. And then as you look at that diagram, past that section is where the alleys kind of dump into the street. So there's no parking there. So there's access there. And then as you go, one of the questions last month is, why do you only have it on that corner and not the other corner? There's a cul-de-sac on the other corner. So that cul-de-sac, nobody's parking on that side of the cul-de-sac. So there's actually more space to get around on that side of the subdivision. So we've never had an issue. And thank God we've only had an issue once in 20 years that a vehicle couldn't get through. But I feel like we needed to find a way to address that concern and still listen to the homeowners, because we have to park on the streets because there's no backup place for them really to park. So my being here is really the request to come back again to say, and then the other part of the reason why they don't want to have parking on one side of the street is the side that would have the cars parked, people would never get their mail. So we have mailboxes in our subdivision, and some of the things that the city's done since then is have a different way you do mail. Still still have the mailboxes. People still want to get the mail in front of their house. And it would mean, and we've seen it, where people park in front of people's mailboxes or near them, they don't get their mail. So that's the other reason why we really, and people still want to be able to park in front of their house, especially if they have mobility issues. So the request really is to say, if you can approve that one section, we feel that will address Metro West concerns and our concerns about people, about getting the larger vehicles around in our subdivision. And if you have any questions, I'm happy to answer them at this time.
And from the board? Sure. So I just want to make sure that I understand. You're looking at the Windsor Crest subdivision being comfortable with a limited area being identified as no parking, but not a general no parking restriction
For
throughout.
the whole
neighborhood.
street.
Okay. Understandable. Thank you. Next item on our agenda is for information. We're looking at an update on the MoDOT city projects. We have document on the update on MoDOT and city projects. Mr. Brown, I assume you're taking that one?
Yes, thank you, Marshall board members. This is a monthly update we've been providing and together for City Council, Board of Public Safety, and some of the other committees provide information to you relative to the ongoing roadway work in the area. This is a very busy year on Wildwood roadways. Over 30 million in construction contracts are active right now, or some of them have wrapped up. So if there's any particular questions you have, I'll be glad to do my best to address them. Just around the town center, as you probably can tell, the Manchester Taylor project is wrapping up. We've got the asphalt laid. Striping is almost complete. The traffic signals are predominantly complete, and contractors down to some final cleanup, but the project is shaping up, and for all practical intents, it's complete. So that is a positive. The bridge rehabilitation that we started a short while ago on Centaur Road, which was been closed, is now back open. We got the bridge open early. The structure was rehabbed, repainted, and the deck was sealed and is open to traffic as of this morning, about a week early. So that was good as well. And work is continuing on Route 100. The J-turns are being paved, and then the contractor is doing a lot of the asphalt overlay work in the far west 2-lane section of Route 100. And so that work will continue probably through the fall, hopefully with completion around December 1st. So with that, I'll wrap up. If there's any particular questions or any projects you want to talk about, be glad to address them as best I can.
So it's safe to say that most of our road projects are they're on schedule. So
At the moment, everything's on schedule. I think it still could remain to be seen relative to the improvements on Route 100. There's a lot of asphalt that has to get laid over the next 4 months. And even on 109, there's still a section of 109 that has not been resurfaced just yet. That's still lacking it from, I guess, Clayton Road up through Route VA South. So still a lot of asphalt to be placed yet.
any questions for Mr. Brown? No questions. Next item on our agenda is the retirement of Metro West Fire Chief, District Chief Cross.
Marshall board members, I don't really have anything prepared. I know Mr. Loyal had mentioned this previously, I believe, and we've been informed and that the former chief with Metro West has retired. I guess he has stepped down officially now. If anyone wants to say any more or knows more than I do, I'd welcome it at this point.
So he's retired after a long career with Metro West, and they're moving forward with internal process to name the next chief. And that'll be coming out, I believe, sometime next week or the week after. So yeah, he's Chief Cross is a district resident and lives in the city of Wildwood. So we'll see him around, and he's always welcome.
And I believe the city's planning on recognizing his service at the council meeting in September.
That's my understanding as well. Yep.
And you did say it's going to be an internal process?
Yes, sir. Yep.
So I shouldn't apply, right? Thank you. And Chief Loyal, you said it's going to be recognized at the next city board meeting. Thank you. Next item of business is Eureka Fire District Chief Scott Bartlemuth. Were we looking at him possibly attending a meeting? Is that what we were looking at? He's on video. Chief Bartlemus, if you want to introduce yourself a little bit to the board, we'd be happy to do two things. One, just hear a quick bio on your background and then kind of what your outlook is for the Eureka Fire Department. All right, so he's not there. You what? Yeah. All right, so we will reschedule him for a future meeting. Moving on to our agenda, Green Pines Elementary School District arrival and dismissal changes. And we have a package regarding school improvements there. Mr. Brown?
Board members, Mr. Marshall, wanted to bring this to your attention. It's been on our plate more recently. And has attracted some attention and concerns. Every year, recently, Rockwood School District has completed improvements on their area schools, and they plan for this throughout the course of the year. So this year, they presented plans to